I'm Catherine. I have a husband named Jack and a daughter named Emily. Jack is the son of a printing company owner with quite the privileged attitude. He has lived a high-standard life since he was little, so he just can't grasp how ordinary people feel. When Emily's fiancé, Ethan, came over to greet us, Jack would probe into Ethan's family background and struggles, quick to label him as a gold digger. Ethan comes from a family of 4, including his sister and working parents, not wealthy by any means. Both parents worked, and Ethan and his sister contributed financially as soon as they were able to. I thought the fact that they both could balance work and studies was impressive. You graduated from college while working. That's amazing. I respect that. You never stop learning, even as an adult. It's pretty normal. But you're not blinded by money, are you? Listen, even if you ask for money, I won't give you a dime. Please stop. That's rude. Humph, if you start complaining about not having money later, it's not my problem. Emily was also upset by her father's insult to someone important she brought home. Furthermore, Emily has not been fond of Jack from the start, so I could imagine this turning into a big fight and was thinking about how to stop it when Ethan's sincere words saved the situation. Indeed, it's my first time visiting such a large house. My parents always lived paycheck to raise us. I do think about wanting to give them an easier life someday, but my feelings for Emily are separate. When I marry Emily, I plan to cherish her no matter the situation. Ethan said this while looking straight into our eyes, and I could almost see a sparkling aura around him. Even Jack was silent, pushed back by this sparkle. I couldn't help but admire my daughter's good judgment. Jack is disliked by Emily mainly due to his usual behavior and his spending habits. Jack and I have a completely different sense of money, and Emily was raised with my sense of financial management. Coming from a very average upbringing, even if I have some leeway now, I find $7 packs of strawberries expensive and look for good deals. However, Jack's parents have always been quite lenient with him. Thanks to this, Jack's sense of money is quite skewed, not hesitating to buy $70 strawberries or impulsively purchasing a couch nearing $10,000. He would do this without consulting me or Emily. Jack thinks he is spending his own earned money, but the reality is somewhat different. I manage the salary that gets transferred to us, and Jack has no interest in his own salary details. He lived with his parents until we get married and has never managed money. The part-time job I kept secret from Jack has been doing better than expected, allowing us to live comfortably with Jack's unchanged spending habits. I should talk about my side job someday, I think, but as time passes, it becomes harder to confess. With Jack's pride and the fact that he's a bit of a mommy's boy, admitting that we're living off my side job feels like it would break him, making it hard to bring up. I understood that pampering him is not helping, but as time went by, my feelings towards Jack cooled, and the thought of explaining and having him understand feels too troublesome one out. So, whatever Jack does, I no longer care. However, one unforgivable issue came up, and as I was thinking about how to give him a painful lesson, I received a call from my long-lost sister, Anne. I hadn't introduced my family to Anne due to her complicated situation, but I thought this is a good opportunity, and invited her over when both Jack and I were home. Emily wasn't there, but Jack and Anne hit it off right away, chatting non-stop even as I was cooking.
I can't believe the gloomy and morose Catherine married such a wonderful man like Jack. Why didn't you introduce us sooner? We are sisters, after all.
It just never seemed like the right time. I had many reasons, but I just gave a non-committal response and let it slide.
By the way, is dinner not ready yet? I'm starving. Catherine, you've always been bad at getting things done, huh? Should I make dinner?
Yeah, despite being a stay-at-home wife, she can't do housework properly.
Wow, Jack, you're really kind not to abandon Catherine for that.
She, wearing a mini-skirt, deliberately crossed her legs in an exaggerated manner to draw attention. Hey, what kind of dishes do you cook? I'm really interested. and Jack was staring hard at her legs.
Maybe I'll cook for you next time.
Really? That'd be great. Despite Anne's sudden arrival, Emily's wedding went off without a hitch. It was my first time experiencing my daughter's wedding, and I was incredibly moved, more so than at my own wedding. When Emily read a letter to me, my eyes were stung with so much tears that I could barely see her. Everything blurred into a bright white figure. Ethan was really kind, and all three of us ended up crying. Jack was the only one who seemed indifferent, silently eating the food on the table. He's not on good terms with Emily and hasn't been involved in parenting, so maybe he doesn't have much of a sense of being a parent. When we got home that day, Jack, slightly tipsy, handed me a piece of paper. "What's this?" "I want a divorce. I'm fed up with you. Even as a stay-at-home wife, you're sloppy with chores, slow, and you don't even take care of your duties at night." The reason I wasn't taking care of my duties at night was because I was working, though. But well, the job is a secret, so maybe that's a bit sad for him. But you've never done it, right? Can you tell me what's sloppy? Well, you know, a wife should have dinner ready as soon as her husband comes home, right? You take 10 minutes just to serve croquettes on the table. I can't support someone so slow. Our child is married now, so there's no reason for us to stay together. I'll divorce you even if it goes to court, whatever you say, Jack said firmly, pointing his finger with a determined look. Fine by me, I have no problems with it. You're taking it surprisingly well. Oh, have you realized you can't compare to your sister's charm? Yo, I'm going to marry her. She can serve food quickly, not to mention she's beautiful and great in bed. A huge difference from you, Catherine. Got it, so you've been having an affair with my sister. I stamped the divorce papers and handed them back to Jack. All right, then please leave the house immediately. Of course, the one who would leave after the divorce papers were processed would be Jack. I told a broadly smiling Jack the truth. This house is mine because I bought it, so you're the one who should leave. Plus, having an affair means you have to pay alimony. You knew that when you handed me those divorce papers, right? Well, if it means cutting ties with you, I have no choice but to pay. But a stay-at-home wife like you owning this big house, impossible, right? You'd know if you looked into it properly. Ask your dad. Humph, I'll look into it properly and kick you out to welcome Anne. But since I don't want to sleep with you, I'll quietly leave just for tonight. Thinking you can take the house along with alimony, what a parasite. Muttering complaints, Jack packed his bags and left. I slept soundly that night, feeling refreshed. After over 20 years of marriage, I felt no bond or affection whatsoever. Housework is easier with just one person, and I can cook whenever I want. Living the single life, not tied down by anyone, is the best. I was thinking just that, but around a day later, I got a call from my father-in-law. Caught off guard by the urgency in his voice, I inadvertently said yes. Please, can we at least meet and talk? Please hold off on the divorce. I knew we couldn't just cut ties after rushing into divorce proceedings. So I agreed to let both of them into my house for another discussion. Why do I have to apologize? Jack muttered under his breath as his father grabbed his head and forced him into apologize. You even came up with that kind of apology. Maybe those who can forgive because of it are actually kind-hearted. Haha. I didn't feel anything even after seeing that. I'm truly sorry. This fool has no idea how much you and your family have supported us. You better apologize with all you've got. My father-in-law was apologizing desperately, while Jack just stared blankly. Please, I didn't invite you in just to listen to your endless apologies. Why are you apologizing so desperately? Whether we divorce or not shouldn't matter to you. It does matter. The company's survival is thanks to Catherine. Didn't I tell you Catherine is a novelist? Oh, you mean her hobby as a fanfiction writer? That can't possibly earn anything. Your lifestyle was supported by Catherine's novel earnings. What are you talking about? Catherine is a stay-at-home wife. Her novels are just a hobby. And the household expenses are supposed to come out of my salary, right?
That was just to save your face. Catherine kept quiet about it. With your salary, supporting a family of 3 and affording luxuries was impossible. You've been living it up with a credit card, but normally an allowance of $500 would be good enough.
No, that can't be true.
You've been living freely off Catherine's income. My printing business was also falling behind the times, barely making ends meet. Catherine negotiated with publishers to keep us afloat. Even now, many publishers contract with us because we're Catherine's family. If the divorce gets out and our connection is severed, work will dry up and the company will go under.
Jack was dumbfounded, as if his soul had left his body. Hearing this all of a sudden must be really confusing. It's really just by chance that his father's company was doing well, thinking it's all thanks to me, but whether work will actually decrease is unknown. Jack wants a divorce, so there's nothing I can do, father-in-law. If he wants to marry Anne, go ahead, I won't stop you. You have no right to stop me. Of course, I have no such right, but as a courtesy of our former marriage, let me tell you, Anne spends money even more lavishly than you, so I think marriage life will be tough. I've never introduced my family to Anne because she has been estranged from our parents for a long time. Anne, who fell into debt hell frequenting host clubs, was disowned by our parents. Being married to her might get you sunk in the sea someday. Hearing this, Jack suddenly started sweating profusely. But Anne said she's a banker with a high income. She dresses flashy just because she's a conservative banker wanting to stand out, pretending to be like someone flashy from the nightlife. It was a lie made up on the spot. Anne's good at deceiving men like that. I don't know about now, but when I knew her, she was always in the nightlife business. She probably hid the fact that she was in the nightlife business because she thought you'd be prejudiced against women who work in it, wouldn't you? Indeed, if I knew she worked in the nightlife industry, I wouldn't marry her. He has a strong sense of being from a noble origin, so his prejudice against the nightlife industry is strong. That's why I kept quiet about writing novels. The genre is mystery and horror, and I figured he wouldn't speak well of it. If I introduced a psychopath character, he might misunderstand and think, this is how she really thinks, and I didn't want Jack to belittle my work.
Wait a minute. I can't just sit here quietly and let you all say whatever you want. What's wrong with working in the nightlife industry?
Anne, who had been secretly listening from another room, couldn't stand it anymore and burst out. In fact, I had invited Anne over before Jack and his father arrived and had her hide. I wanted her to know the real Jack.
And to think he's just an ordinary employee. Catherine said Jack was the son of a big printing company's president and worked for a top tire company. You totally set me up.
I didn't lie. It's true that it's a top tire company. If you hadn't had an affair, Jack's background or salary wouldn't have mattered to you, right? You were blinded by money and seduced Jack without knowing him well. I think it's just desserts. But thanks to this, I can cut ties with Jack. It's been a good opportunity. Thank you. For Emily's sake, I should divorce a man who harasses the sister of my future son-in-law.
What? You did something else?
What are you talking about?
I won't let you say you don't know.
Then Emily and Ethan came down from the second floor. These kids were also waiting for the right moment to give Jack a piece of their mind.
Ethan's sister told us everything. Do you understand how terrible what you did was?
Ethan's sister is a college student, about 21 years old. Ethan, explain it so that Jack's father and Anne can understand. Wait, don't say it.
You have no right to speak, so keep quiet.
Please let me explain. My sister was worried it might cause trouble for the upcoming marriage, but she mustered up the courage to tell us. We had a few dinner meetings as a family introduction. We visited each other's homes, and everything seemed fine on the surface. But Ethan's sister told us what had happened with Jack before the wedding. From the first meeting, he would approach her when she was washing dishes or alone, starting with normal conversation. But gradually, he got closer and started saying strange things. Being this close makes it very clear. Your skin is young and firm, not like Catherine's at all. I'm envious. She was scared when he touched her cheek without permission. Is that okay? I can oppose your brother's marriage, you know. If you keep acting like this, I might not approve of the marriage. That's what she was told. Ethan was furious as he relayed this fact.
What? Threatening a young girl?
In was appalled, looking at Jack, who was sitting down, with contempt. That's not true. That girl is lying.
She's not lying. She gathered her courage to tell us. We have the recording, you potential sex offender.
That brat, she seduced me and recorded it. She's after money. Their family is poor, so she seduced me to get money from me. Catherine set me up with that nightlife woman to take alimony from me. I'm the victim in all this. Hearing this, something in me snapped, and before I knew it, I had punched Jack in the head with my fist. What the heck, that hurts. Arg, don't mess with me. Do you even realize what you've done? You casually hurt and threatened a young woman who's going to be part of my daughter's family, and now you're playing the victim. You don't even have the awareness of a father, and you dare to jeopardize my daughter's happiness. If Ethan and his sister hadn't forgiven you, you'd be in jail, you scum. Spend your life dominated by your lower half.
Mom, wait, if you hit him, you'll be the perpetrator. Calm down, Mom.
It hurts, stop it. Jack, who had hardly ever been in a fight, was half crying and defending his head. If Emily and Ethan hadn't stopped me, I don't know what I would have done to that husband of mine. That's how unforgivable his words were. I didn't care about the affair or even the $10,000 couch, but harassing Emily's sister-in-law was something I could never forgive. I think it was the first time Jack ever saw me angry. He must have been really scared because he finally cowered his head in fear and apologized on his own. It was all my fault. It was just a moment of folly. So please don't kill me. As if I would. I grabbed Jack by the scruff of his neck as he sobbed. You're going to settle what you've done. You can sign an agreement, right? Jack nodded vigorously. He signed an agreement to pay me $30,000 in alimony and another document promising not to appear in front of Ethan's sister ever again. All right, those who have no more business here can leave. It's just my family, Emily and Ethan now.
Hey, if you have that much income from your novels, couldn't you share a little?
Shut up, or I'll sue you for alimony as the other woman.
Eek.
Could you please continue doing business with our company as usual, even though all our relatives will be out on the streets?
That's none of my business. Go talk directly to the publishers.
Yes.
So we kicked out Jack, his father, and Anne, and then had dinner with Ethan and Emily. That night, maybe because I got to say what I wanted or because I was with the two of them, the drinks tasted better than usual. After that, Jack lived in a cheap studio apartment, paying off the alimony little by little under his father's watchful eye. Maybe now he'll learn what hardship means for the first time. Andis appeared again soon after, but rumors say she's back to splurging on hosts.
I'm done with Mama's boys, and I'm scared of Catherine, so I'm staying away.
Apparently, a friend overheard her saying this in a bar somewhere. I've graduated from being Jack's wife, and my writing career is on the rise, with a movie adaptation of my novel in the works. Turns out if you keep it a hobby, it can flourish. Lately, I've gotten close to Ethan's sister, who turned out to be a fan of my books, and she visits often. It's like having another daughter, making for a fun second life. As for the alimony I received from Jack, I've been giving it to Ethan's sister. I thought it was more appropriate for her to have it than me.